What's up, YouTubers? This is Harpy Hunter 89 coming at you from the Duelist Den. Today I will be displaying my top 10 favorite Synchro Monsters. So, with that being said, let's jump right into the video. Coming in at number 10 on my list is Vortex the Whirlwind. This is a level 5 wind attribute wing beast type monster with 2100 attack points and 700 defense points. It requires one tuner and one or more non-tuner wing beast type monsters to summon, and its effect states that when destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one level 4 or lower wing beast monster from your deck. This card has made number 10 on my list just because it's a bit of a Harpy card. I know Harpies don't have any tuners, and I haven't really talked about Harpies yet, but Harpies are my favorite archetype. They've always been my favorite deck. They were the first deck I ever ran back in the day, and I've always had a Harpy deck. Like I said, I made number 10 just because it's sort of a Harpy-ish card, and I wanted to have a spot for it on my list. Coming in at number 9 on my list is Crimson Blader. This is a level 8 fire attribute warrior type monster with 2800 attack points and 2600 defense points. It is a generic synchro monster, so it only requires one tuner plus one or more non-tuner monsters. The effect on this card states that if it destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, your opponent cannot summon level 5 or higher monsters during their next turn. This card is a real great card to have in your deck against a lot of different varieties. Not only the past meta when it crawls and Clyforts and a whole bunch of other stuff, but also back in the day, you know, if this card was around back when Cyber Dragons were first big, it would have been a great help. Even in more recent days, Cyber Dragons made a comeback. It worked real great against them then as well. But Crimson Blader to me has been an out to a lot of decks. It's saved my tail end more than I care to count. So that's why it makes number 9 on my list. Coming in at number 8 is Goyo Guardian. This is a level 6 Earth attribute warrior type monster with 2800 attack points and 2000 defense points. It requires one tuner and one or more non-tuners to summon it, and when it destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon that monster to your field in defense position. This card at one point was on the limited list. It just recently came back, and Konami has since created sort of a whole archetype around this card. And I like this card because it was the original Goyo card, and to me, I like cards that are so powerful or so popular, or for some reason, Konami decides to create an entire archetype around them. The main, they've done this a couple times, like with number 39 Utopia and the actual Cyber Dragon card. They're so good that they actually built archetypes around them. Number 7 on my list is Stardust Warrior. This is a new card that just came out in the Synchro Extreme Structure deck. It is a level 10 wind attribute warrior type monster with 3000 attack and 2500 defense. It requires one tuner synchro and one or more non-tuner monsters to summon it, or non-tuner synchro monsters to summon it. Its effect states that during either player's turn, when your opponent would special summon a monster or monsters, you attribute this card to negate the special summon and destroy the monsters that were being summoned. During the end phase of this card was activated, you can special summon it from the grave as long as the effect was not negated. The second effect is if it is destroyed by battle or card effect, or destroyed by battle or leaves the field due to an opponent's card effect, and is still in your possession, then you can special summon a level 8 or lower warrior attribute or warrior type synchro monster from your extra deck. And that summon is treated as a synchro summon. That effect is pretty powerful in that your card doesn't actually have to be sent to the graveyard. It could be bounced back to your extra deck. It could be banished. A whole host of things could happen to trigger that effect. But Stardust Warrior made my list because it's a pretty powerful card. It just, to me, it has made Synchrons even more powerful. And especially, and I love Synchrons. Synchros are my favorite type of extra deck monster, at least. And this just made, a whole bunch of decks even more playable. This should be no surprise. This is on every top 10 Synchro list in existence, but that should just show how powerful this card is and how good and popular it is. is Stardust Dragon, the level 8 wind attribute dragon type monster, 2500 attack and 2000 defense. And although, everybody knows what this effect does, I'm going to state it anyway. When your opponent activates an effect that would destroy a card or cards on the field, you attribute this to negate that effect and destroy the card. And during the end phase, you can special summon it back if the effect was not negated. I'm not going to go into Stardust Dragon too much because everybody knows what it is, so let's move on to number 5. The number 5 spot goes to 2 cards, and the only reason it goes to 2 cards is because you cannot have one of these cards in the spot without the other. It is Sun Dragon Inti and Moon Dragon Quilla. For those of you who don't know what these cards do, let's start with Sun Dragon. Sun Dragon Inti is a level 8 light dragon type monster, 3000 attack and 2800 defense. Requires Fire Ant, Ascator, and one or more non-tuners to summon it. When destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, destroy the monster that destroyed it, and inflict damage to your opponent equal to half that monster's attack. If this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you special summon one Moon Dragon Quilla from your graveyard during the next standby phase. Moon Dragon Quilla is a level 6 Dark Dragon with 2500 attack points and 2000 defense points. It requires Supay and one or more non-tuners to summon it. When targeted for an attack, you gain life points equal to half the attacking monster's attack. And if this card on the field is destroyed, you can special summon one Sun Dragon Inti from your graveyard. These cards have made number 5 on my list just because they form an infinite summoning loop. It doesn't matter what your opponent does, one of these will always be coming back to the field. One combo that I love seeing with this is if somebody pulls out 2 Sun Dragons and 2 Moon Dragons, and they both get popped in the same turn. They just are constantly bringing cards back to the field, and there's not really a whole lot your opponent can do to get around them. The number 4 spot on my list goes to Infernal Doom Dragon. It is a level 8 Dark Dragon type monster, 3000 attack points and 2400 defense points. Requires one Dark Tuner and one or more non-tuners to summon it. And once per turn, if no cards are in your hand, you can select one monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and inflict damage equal to half of that monster's attack to your opponent. The only downside to this effect is that it cannot attack the turn the effect is activated. This card did not make my list because of an effect. This card made my list because it's an Infernity card. It is the only actual Infernity Synchro monster that they made. Infernities have always been one of my top favorite decks ever since they came out. I love the way that they work. They require no cards in your hand, so you're pretty much top decking and using your graveyard to its full potential. I don't know. I just always liked the way Callan played them in the anime, and I actually ran an Infernity deck for a while there. Then they hit fucking Infernity Launcher and Infernity Archfiend fucking Konami. But anyway, on to number 3. Coming in at the number 3 spot on my list are 3 cards. Loki, Lord of the Aesir, Thor, Lord of the Aesir, and Odin, Father of the Aesir. These cards have made number 3 on my list merely because they are the Synchro version of the God cards. Synchros have always been my favorite type of monster ever since they came out. I like the idea of fusion summoning without actually fusion summoning, and to me that's what Synchros have always been. I know when they first came out, there was this big thing about, Synchros ruining the game. I was never one of those people that jumped on that bandwagon. I've always loved Synchros. Exusion monsters, on the other hand, are kind of iffy with me. But anyway, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to go over what these cards do. I'm going to go over them real quick. Loki is a level 10 Dark Spellcaster type monster with 3,300 attack points and 3,000 defense points. It requires one Nordic Alpha tuner and 2 or more non-tuner monsters. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a spell or trap during your battle phase, you can negate and destroy that spell or trap card. During the end phase, if this face-up card on the field was destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to your graveyard, you can banish one Nordic Alpha tuner from your grave to special summon Loki from your graveyard. When special summoned by this effect, you can select one trap card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Thor is a level 10 Earth attribute Beast Warrior type monster with 3,500 attack points and 2,800 defense points. It requires a Nordic Beast tuner plus 2 or more non-tuners. Once per turn, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end phase. When it is destroyed, or when this face-up card is just on the field was destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to your graveyard, you can banish a Nordic Beast Tuner monster to special summon it back from the grave. And when special summoned by this effect, it deals 800 damage to your opponent. Odin, Father of the Aesir, is a level 10 Light Fairy type monster of 4,000 attack points and 3,500 defense points. It requires a Nordic Ascendant Tuner monster plus 2 or more non-tuners, and once per turn during your main phase, you can make it unaffected to your opponent's spells and traps until the end phase of this turn. When this face-up card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to your graveyard, you can banish a Nordic Ascendant Tuner monster to special summon it from the grave. When special summoned by this effect, you can draw 1 card. As you can tell, they're going along with the same thing that all the other god cards. With the Egyptian gods, those 3 tributes. With the Sacred Beast, those 3 of a specific type of card. And with this one, it's a tuner plus 2 or more non-tuners. So at minimum, they still require the 3 monsters to summon. Personally, I think these are the best of the god cards because they have a built-in ability that allows them to return from the graveyard. And they all gain an extra effect when summoned from the grave. Now, if memory serves, there are, I want to say, only 2 different tuners for each one. 2 Nordic Outfares, 2 Nordic Beasts, and I think there might actually be 3 Nordic Ascendants. So you can potentially bring each of these back at least 6 times if you have the right cards in your deck. But like I said earlier, these made number 3 on my list because they are the synchro version of the god cards. Coming up in the number 2 spot on my list is Voyeur Dragon. Again, this is sort of an uber Infernity card. It's not actually an Infernity monster, but it is primarily ran in Infernity decks. Voyeur Dragon is the level 8 Dark Dragon type Synchro monster with 3,000 attack points and 3,000 defense points. It requires a Dark Attribute Tuner monster and 1 or more non-tuners to summon it. Its effect states that once per turn during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell or trap card, while you have no cards in your hand, you can negate and destroy the card. This card is super powerful just because it pretty much stalls your opponent out. If you have multiple copies of this on the field, there's not a whole lot your opponent's going to be able to do about it. Coming in with 3,000 attack and defense, that's pretty powerful stats. But like I said, the reason it's on my list is because it is an Infernity card, and I've always loved Infernities. Taking the number 1 spot on my list, and this really should come as no surprise to anybody who's seen my Lightsworn deck profile, is Red Nova Dragon. It is a level 12 Dark Dragon type monster, 3,500 attack points and 3,000 defense points. It requires 2 tuners plus Red Dragon Archfiend to summon it. Now, until recently, this was the only Synchro monster that required 2 tuners to summon it. They've come out with a couple more here in the last few months, but until very recently, this was the only one. Add into that its effect is highly powerful, and its effect states that it gains 500 attack for each tuner monster in your graveyard. It cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, and when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can banish this card to negate the attack, and if this effect was not negated, you can special summon it from the graveyard or from banishment during the end phase. So as you can see, that effect is super powerful. First of all, your opponent's not going to be able to get over something with 7,000 to 9,000 attack, depending on how many tuners are in your graveyard. Instantly, just on the summon, you're obviously going to have a tuner from summoning the Red Dragon Archfiend, and then the 2 tuners from summoning itself. So that's instantly 1,500 attack points is gaining, bringing it up to 5,000 attack. If you're running a deck like Lightsworn's that mills cards constantly and you're putting a shit ton of tuners in the graveyard, you can easily bump this card up to 9,000 or 10,000 attack. This card is number 1 just because, it is, in my opinion, the most powerful Synchro monster in existence. In addition to that, it's a Red Dragon Archfiend card. I mean, come on, why wouldn't it make number 1 on the list? But anyway, that's my top 10 Synchro list. In the comment section below, let me know what you think. Give me some, or let me know what some of your top favorites are. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If this video gets 75, or if this channel gets 75 subscribers and this video gets 50 likes, I'll be giving away 2 packs of high-speed riders. If this channel gets about 125-ish subscribers and the video gets 100 likes, then I'll be giving away 4 packs of high-speed riders. So make sure you comment in the box below, because even if I get the subscribers and the likes, you're not going to qualify unless you put a comment in the box below with at least 2 of your favorite Synchro Monsters. So make sure you get your friends watching the channel, subscribing to it, liking the videos, leaving their comments. And until next time, this is Harpy Hunter 89 signing off.